to Mic'd Up with the Youth Council. I'm your host, Kat, and today we're exploring those moments where power crosses the line and how we recognize it, talk about it, and take that power back. I'm here with our Youth Council, River, Corey, Kat, Nita, Angel, and Enya. Along with Brian, our devil advocate, Jaylene, our fact finder. So, in the last episode, we talked about safety, what it means and how it shows up in our homes, schools, streets, communities. But sometimes danger doesn't come from strangers or systems. It comes from people you know, people we trust, or even people we love. In this episode, we're diving into what happens when power turns into control in our relationships, friendships, and communities. Because control doesn't always look violent. Sometimes it looks like love, protection, or concern, until it's not. So, before we go any further, we want to give a trigger warning. This conversation includes discussions around emotional manipulation, control, and unhealthy relationships. Some of what you'll hear may be uncomfortable or triggering. If at any point you need to pause, step away, or talk to someone, please take care of yourself first. Okay, so for today's icebreaker, we have a slideshow. We're gonna play a quick little game. It's called How Would You Respond? We're gonna walk through a few like what if situations. It's kind of like things people actually deal with, and just talk about how we'll handle it. So no pressure, no right or wrong answers. It's just a way to explore like what power and control can look like in certain situations, relationships, and what healthy responses might look like. All right. So go ahead. All right. So secrets and control. Your partner asks you not to share details about your relationship with anyone. No text, no stories, saying it's better for both of you that way. So we can go down the line. How would you respond? Does anybody want to start?
How I would respond to this.
Thank you, Corey.
I feel like that's the natural thing. It's the most reasonable thing. If you feel like your relationship is doing good without the public attention or public eye, then I say you keep it like that. Mm-hmm. But again, it should be both ways. I feel like both people should agree with that, at least, because I know some people like the attention that they get from relationships from other people and other stuff like that. But for the most part, I believe that if it's better, if the relationship is better on the down low, then just keep it like that.
Respect. Can you speak
up? I think I would definitely question it, as into why, what's the reason behind wanting to be so secretive or on the down low about our relationship. And I think I would try to have a conversation with my partner about the reason why, because I think sometimes they're valid reasons and the other times it's sneaky reasons.
Okay.
And yeah.
Follow-up question. Is there something you would take outside of the relationship then?
What do you mean by that?
Because with your response, what would be a valid reason to take something outside of a relationship?
I think, from what I was saying, I think a valid reason to if my partner is asking for this very private our relationship stay very private, I think if they told me somebody was hurting them or there was a situation at home that I knew someone who had resources for it, I would ask them to oh, can I take this to this person? Can I help you in some way? And and also if their reason for keeping the relationship a secret was for like their safety or my safety, I think that's another valid reason. But if their reason is because they have a whole bunch of other relationships and they're keeping that a secret, is when it's like, now you're just trying to like be controlling and manipulative in some way. So, yeah.
Any other thoughts before we move to the next one?
I feel like the way that was worded could be problematic because it says like no text, no stories. I feel like the only reason that could be said is if there's like you're going to someone about specific arguments you're having in your relationship. And I only say that like not to go to the like problems within your relationship outside of it, because that's what people remember. Like every next time they see your significant other, they're like, weren't y'all just arguing? Why are y'all so close and what happened to this? And people like tend to be one track minded when it comes to like arguments. Like it's hard to forget. So like bringing like your issues outside of your relationship, I feel like that could be problematic if anything.
So like if you only share the bad with other people, they only know the bad. I see what you mean. All right. Let's the next one. All right, reputation threat. Your partner tells you that if you leave, they'll say things about you that nobody would believe, threatening to ruin your reputation. How do we feel about this one? I see you laughing, Corey. What's up?
It's true. I feel like certain people do that. They tend to really depend. It really depends on how the relationship like ended. I feel like if it ended on a bad note, then yeah, certain people will, try to tarnish your name. Whether it's to like fool media, like fool when people are just to like their close acquaintances and stuff like that. They'll just spread out these little fibs and stuff like that to make you look bad. But I feel like it shouldn't really come down to that, to be honest. In my opinion, whether it goes bad or not, I feel like just spreading bad is like real karma. So
right.
I don't think anybody should really just be spreading around things like that unless it's really like something that actually happened that was really harmful, just to like give people awareness and stuff like that. But if you're just spilling out fibs and stuff like that just to make someone look bad, then you shouldn't really do that, obviously.
So I know it says your partner, but we can extend this even to like other types of relationships as well, right? So like when let's say you're ending a relationship or you leave a relationship and they start saying things about you that nobody would believe, threatening to ruin your reputation. So if we interpreted that situation like that, how would you respond?
But like in my opinion, if they knew that, like let's say it wasn't a fib but it was real, like I feel like if they knew, it would ruin their reputation. But also like knowing that they trusted the person, I feel like at the end of the day, if they knew like, or not even knew, like know that if that's something that they shouldn't have done, they shouldn't have done it in the first place.
Okay.
Because
say more about that.
I feel like even if you trust a person, it could always go south. Like it's like friendships, they don't always last. Or like, let's say you trust someone with a secret. Obviously, they might tell the person that they're mainly close with, but make you think that they're not. So that's what I think about it. Like, if they didn't know, it would have advertised them, but trusted the person. I feel like still they shouldn't have started anything in the first place.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts? I haven't heard from Enya or Nita.
I think it'll backfire no matter who it is, because it could also be seen like, okay, they trusted you though, so why would you put their business out there? Another perspective, but also it's just like manipulation. I don't know.
To add on to what they both were saying, I don't think we really told you how we would react in that sense, but I feel like depending on what is said would depend on the reaction I give. well, that's just me. Like a person, if I know it's something that's like totally not true, and I know no one's gonna believe, like I stole something or like I held someone up at gunpoint or something, I'm obviously not gonna take action into that because I know it's fake. But if it's anything that sounds a bit believable and I know it can ruin something that I have good for myself going on in the future, then maybe, well, not maybe, but I would like take it upon myself to try to get them to tell people the truth or let them know what really happened.
Right.
Or obviously consequences could be brought up into that if they don't. So
Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so forced silence, okay? So this person insists that you don't talk about what happened between you two, saying that if you cared about me, you'll never say anything. So how do we respond to that? What are your thoughts about that?
well, so I think that if someone is saying that, it's obvious. Well, it sounds most obviously that it's manipulation. Obviously, because certain things I feel like you have to let people know. You have to let people know what's going on between you two, especially if it's something physical or And I know that's from a relationship like point of stance and stuff like that. But just anything like you have a higher up telling you like don't talk about this or don't let anything like that happen. I know they won't say in a way like, oh, like if you care about me, but it'll be in a way like, oh, if you care about your job or if you care about this and that, then you won't say anything. I just feel like how I would react to something like that, it would be again, it really just depends on who's telling me this and how it's going down and stuff like that, because you really don't know what's going on with other people's lives. So I mean, if it's something that's serious, then I feel like I would tell them like, oh yeah, I have to let them know. I have to let people know about this because it's something that goes beyond me and you. But if it's something that I know is something really not that serious and I know it's personal to them and it's not involving like anything harmful to themselves, then I feel like if you do care about the person and they don't want any of their like insecurities going out, then you wouldn't say anything. So.
Okay. What about when this is present in a family situation? Any thoughts on that?
Like, in my opinion, family-wise, like, it could be difficult at times because you never know if, let's say, it's, like, abusive in a way, like, abusive family. It's going to be difficult to tell someone because you never know. Like, if you tell a family member, they either might not believe you, in effect, because that happens many times where someone's been abused by the family member and they tell someone, but they take the other person's side other than yours, or they don't even get both sides in the end of the day. So I feel like it's just difficult at times, all that. Because like even if you love them or all that, like it's difficult mainly just because you want your voice to be heard, but scared of how they're gonna take it.
Right. Okay. Any other thoughts before we move on? All right, social media. Your partner says they'll break up with you unless you give them your phone's password, so they can check your DMs. What do we do in this situation?
I personally give him my phone. No, I give him my phone. But, yeah, I mean, it's all about trust again. It's all about trust. A lot of that comes with insecurities about what happened in the past with their last relationship. So, they want to go through everything, make sure you're telling the truth and stuff like that. And honestly, I feel like it's 50-50. One, if you're not fully healed from your last relationship, you shouldn't be getting into a new relationship in the first place. So that's that. And if you fully don't trust anybody, then why be with them? You should be with someone that you know that you trust, like just off the heart. But a lot of people do be liars. They lie about how they are. They lie about what they do. They lie just a lot. So I can see how certain people, if they've been through this trauma again and again and again, giving people chances, then I can see that they want to go through everything that you have, and it makes a lot of sense. But I just feel like with me, I'm always willing to give up my phone. I have nothing to hide, and you should know I have nothing to hide. So there's no point of having a password on your phone if you're together. So that's what I think.
Okay.
Would you give your phone away if they said I'm gonna break up with you if you don't give it to me?
I mean, if I have nothing to hide, then you just take it. I mean, they're not gonna find anything anyway, so it's like, just take it. And if you feel like you have to break up with me because I'm not giving up your phone, then again, that's something that you have to personally heal on and take it upon yourself and do whatever you feel need. But I'll be here regardless. So yes.
I feel like saying that break up part was just lack of trust completely, like 0%. Because if you're saying I'm gonna break up with you if you don't tie my shoe or give me your phone, I feel like that's already on the back of your mind, and like you're already on that level to where you're just looking for something at this point.
So how would we, okay, so let me pose this to everybody in the group. How would you correct this situation?
Like, how would I reword that?
Mm-hmm.
Can I see your phone?
Simple. Yeah, can I see your phone?
Or may I see your phone?
I feel like the only reason it should be taken there if they're like defensive to the max. Like your phone, you're on your TikTok, and I say, "Can I see it?" They're changing apps to a game or something. Like that's the only thing I would be like, okay, I don't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to do something about this. Like that's the only reason I would take it there.
Okay.
I agree with Angel because I feel like it depends on the situation, on where it's going. Because if they like just see it and the person's right next to them, they're using their phone, then they want to see it as well. Like, okay, it's able to be like, oh, may I see it? Like, or like peek a little. But I feel like the whole breakup led to a whole different thing. Because I'm just like, me personally, whenever if you don't show me your phone, I'll break up with you. No, I feel like they took it to a whole like defensive type of mode. Like, it could be a whole like mirroring situation. Like the person could be hiding something, you never know, but they're trying to like switch it, making it seem like you're doing it. Yeah, they're trying to reflect.
Like someone's projecting?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like,
I see you nodding your head, River.
I agree with a lot of the stuff that they're saying. I think a thought that's been on my mind is that the both of you are you're your own people, and you both deserve the respect and privacy of being able to have like a password on your phone, or like obviously like for social media you need a password, and I don't think you necessarily would have to give it to your partner to show some level of trust, because to me if you're already, like they said, if you're already threatening to break up with me because I won't give you my password, that means that you don't have the same level of trust that I've been giving to you, and our relationship is not equal. Like there's a power imbalance somewhere.
Okay.
I did want to say though, I don't agree with Corey where he said
That's okay.
like,
Yeah.
if you're in a relationship you shouldn't have a password. I mean, there's other people around you, so I would have a password. That's just do it. But I mean, I don't know, because I used to always swear that I was never one to go through phones, but now sometimes curiosity gets the best out of you, and it's not even that you're projecting or hiding shit, but you just want to know like what's going on.
Okay.
That
Just
but
natural
also,
curiosity.
Yeah, but also like personally too, I just like to be on her phone, just I don't know, playing your games. Like it doesn't always have to be toxic. I like her For You page more than I like mine. So that's what I do.
Okay.
But the breakup part is crazy. I think even just give me your password so I can check your DM is like a crazy question.
Right. Any opinion, Anya?
Hmm?
Any opinion? I haven't heard from you.
Nothing that hasn't already been said.
Okay, so you agree with what was been said. Okay, cool. All right, next one. All right, friends in isolation, okay? So, your partner tells you that they'll leave you unless you stop hanging out with certain friends. They don't lie. I love that you're shaking your head and you're the first one I'm gonna go to.
It just doesn't. It's stupid to me, that like situation.
That extreme of a
It's,
statement.
it's such an extremism. But
Okay.
it's also like, no offense, I've known these people longer than you. Why would I choose you over them? Like, I've built trust with these people. Like, I know who they are. You really don't. So why would you put this up like as if it was something that is, I don't know, just anything?
But okay, what if there was disrespect in the equation? Like, what if? Hold on, wait. Let me get. Hold on. Your friends or relationship? Okay, what if your friends disrespected your relationship, or your relationship disrespected your friends?
Well, why are you friends with people who are gonna like put you down like that?
Let me shut up. Right.
But and you just pose the question, right? It's just a question.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think that also goes to like a level of respect too, like I just said. You know, hold on, let me read this.
So your partner tells you that they'll leave you unless you stop hanging out with certain friends they don't like.
But I don't think leaving would be like a. I think that goes back to the last question. Like, it's also like reflection, because I don't think leaving has to be an option. I think we could just sit down and talk about why we don't like them and figure out like what we can do about it. Whether that's keep them away from each other or drop them. Because personally, I know you said you've known your friends longer, but at the same time, I feel like when you get in a relationship, your partner becomes like one of your priorities. That's just me though. So, no matter how long I've known someone, because you can know someone for your whole life and you still don't really know them. You know?
Okay, so you shake your head. Corey, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, they're both right in their own sense. One, if you do have friends, why are they? If you're happy in your relationship, why are they blending into it? Why are they saying things to put your relationship down? Especially if they don't know the person, they don't know them. They're just saying this just out of pure spite or just out of pure opinions that they're having. Then I don't think they should do that. But again, what Nita said, it does come to a level of respect. If you do know the person, and you're saying all these mean things that doesn't really have to be said, or that's not even causing these things to be said, of course the person's gonna be like, I don't want you hanging out with this person because of this, and I don't want you hanging. But I just feel like in all, it really just depends on the situation. If you have friends that's just saying things about your relationship and nothing, like they're just saying this just out of hate or whatever they feel, then I think you should like talk to them at least and let them know like, oh, you know, I don't really appreciate you saying this, and you know, just like try to have like a conversation about it. And if they can't understand you, then that's where the isolation part starts to come, because like they're not trying to respect the boundaries in a relationship that you're in. But I feel like if they do know the person and they know that this person is treating you terrible in the relationship, like they know that this person is bad for you and stuff like that, I really don't mind opinions from a friend because it looks different from the outside view. So I mean, it can be things that they're noticing that I'm not picking up on, and they can just be letting me know, like, you know, watch your guard, you know, watch your back. So it just depends on the person that you're with and the situation, because the friend could be right or it could be wrong, depending on that. So
Not to be toxic or anything, but I kind of do like understand this to an extent. Like, say the person I was with had a friend since elementary, and they were just like too close, like hug all the time, sit in the same chair, like sleep in the same bed, share the same socks. I feel like I would be like, could you either like separate yourself like when I'm around, or just not be so close and so intimate to where from the outside looking in it looks like y'all are
Together?
like too close. Yeah. So I feel like if that conversation took it nowhere and everything was still the same, I'd probably have that conversation like 2 times before I'm like, okay, I can't be around this, because naturally I'm a jealous person as is. So to have like a friend that close, like hanging out with constantly, I feel like that would make me uncomfortable and insecure in my own relationship. So that I would have to just like separate myself from both of them at that point. So that's why I understand like the I'll leave part, but not without a conversation or a reason on like why they're seeing that way or why their hangout is making them uncomfortable. That's the only reason I say that.
I'm sorry, and to add on to what
Angel.
to what Angel was saying, if you get in a relationship, you shouldn't even be. If you are close like that with friends, you should not be doing that. Like that shouldn't even be on the table. Like if you are hanging out and you're sharing all this stuff and you get in a relationship, I feel like you should respect the person that you're with boundaries because you wouldn't want them doing that. So why would you still want to be all close and do all this stuff? I feel like you should cut half of that down and still be friends, but not.
Very key word, boundaries. Right? Okay.
But I think there's another perspective.
Sorry, Nina, I can't hear you. What?
On another perspective, there's also situations where like you could have like these friends and then you meet your partner and then your partner doesn't like them and you can't figure out why, but then little by little you start to realize why, and your partner kind of just opens your eyes on how these friends are not really your friends, but you didn't see that, because I've had that situation happen to me. So I take it more as like a blessing, like, because again, going back to like if I leave you, like she said, like I'd rather have that conversation before just like, pick up like me or them type of situation. So we'll have that conversation, and if everything's changing, then bye.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot. It sounds like this one isn't just black and white, right? It just depends on why someone is saying what they're saying, what the circumstances. I really enjoy the conversation and what you guys have been just like sharing. All right. Any other thoughts before we move on to the next one?
I kind of have. Well, I do have a thought actually.
Go ahead, River. Go ahead.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't entirely agree with. I believe Corey said that like, if you're friends with someone and you are that close with them, like when you're in a relationship, you should stop, because relationships and friendships look different for all kinds of people, and I think that it is about having boundaries and knowing where your boundaries lie with your friends and knowing where your boundaries lie with your partner, to be able to still be able to have that same love that you've been sharing with your friend and be able to share the love you have for your partner. And it goes back to like that level of trust. And I think especially with this question or statement, it's like your partner could see something that you don't, or your friend has said something to your partner and you didn't see it. And I think that it also comes from a level of insecurity, and as humans we have insecurities and it's natural. I think it's just the way that we go to the people we're having insecurities from or about, and how we go and like have a conversation with them instead of demanding like a resolution that isn't like fit for the situation. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Catherine, anything?
I feel like in my opinion, I agree with most of everyone actually.
Okay.
Just because I feel like they have to have a valid reason. Without a valid reason or an explanation, I feel like there's no point of like distancing yourself from friends. I feel like let's say jealousy wise, your partner's jealous of how you have a relationship with your friend more than your partner wise. I feel like they should have a conversation and be like, I see you're more close to your friend, but I also want to feel that type of love and affection that you have with them. So I feel like they just have to have like a conversation instead of just telling the person, oh, I don't want you to hang out with them. Like they have to have a valid reasoning.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could go like both ways, in the sense of like your friends might tell you like, I don't want you with that person. Or your friends get distant because you get in a relationship and your friends just, she got in a relationship, so let's not talk to her. That's also a different topic in itself. But I think that also, I'm confused, what am I looking at? I think that also parts into the question. But also, it's because personally, I'm a jealous person myself too. overly jealous, so I'd rather just like, okay, fuck the world, it's just us two. That's just how I'd rather be.
I think it's important that, and I want to acknowledge that you guys are very insightful on who you guys are as people, which is important because you need to be able to communicate that with your partner, right? Okay, we're gonna do a couple more before we move on. But so the next one is the threat of self-harm and guilt. So they say if you ever leave them, they might hurt themselves, making you feel responsible for their emotions. Has anyone ever been in a situation, heard of such a situation, or have any opinions on the situation?
I've heard of situations like that from close friends.
Okay.
And like I have this one close friend where she's always in like toxic relationships, and she told me like she had been in a situation like that, and I told her to leave, not to promote that or anything, but I told her to leave because like I feel like when it's happening to you, it's hard for you to see like that they could be lying to you, or they probably said it to numerous people. But I feel like that's just the manipulation, like the icing on the cake. Like they're already doing something they shouldn't be doing, and to keep you there, I feel like they would say that like, if you leave, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna FaceTime you, not do it. Like I feel like that's definitely terrible. But I've seen it happen a lot, dangerously.
To add on what Angel was saying, to be honest, that's in my opinion, that's a form of manipulation. Threatening to harm yourself because someone doesn't want to be with you anymore is just downright wrong. That I just feel like that proves that you aren't mentally stable with yourself, and there's something you obviously aren't happy with yourself, because I feel like if people are lonely and they don't love themselves and they want other people around to to make them feel loved, or make them feel like make them feel like special in some type of way. So when they do have that one person that leaves, they try to do anything they can to like keep them there and stuff. So I just feel like if that is happening if it was me and that was happening to me, I feel like I wouldn't just leave straight up. I'll probably talk to them and stuff, like let them know like why I'm leaving and all this, like try to give them an understanding on what's going on, and if they're still like going that direction, probably offer help to them, like therapy or something like that, anything that can help, the cops. But I just feel like that's not really an option you should go. But people go there because they are happy with themselves, or they just feeling some type of way about themselves. So.
Right.
Yeah, I just feel like self-harm is it's nothing. I don't know. If that gets brought up, if they bring up something like that, then I just think you should seek help for them, because if you want to leave, then nothing you're gonna do like is gonna help them unless you like force yourself to stay. And most people don't want to do that, so I think seeking help is the best way to try to help them like cope with that.
That's out. Any other opinions on this?
I have an opinion. To add on what Corey said, because I have like a friend that I met recently. Well, not recently, like a while ago, and she was in like a relationship wise to the point where he would try to harm himself just to have her stay. And it was to a point where it brought her down mentally, physically, and it got her scared to the point where she felt manipulated to having to stay just for his safety, which brought her down even more. And just like, it was to a point where it was very toxic, and her, like, as a person, she wanted to harm herself just because, like, since she ended up staying in that position. It was to a point where he would get, like, deeper into things, and he would call her, he would call her, FaceTime her, and try to do his self-harm. But he would tell like her to not tell anyone, or like he's just gonna off himself right now. And he would tell her like he's gonna off himself right there and then while they're on call. to a point where when he said that, like very low, she ended up texting the mother and saying, "Oh, your kid's like, we're on the phone. He's trying to harm himself, but telling me not to tell you." To a point where the mother herself ended up feeling guilty, and as like a regular mother is, they're worried, and they act like they more want to take their responsibility because you're under their household, and they feel more guilty because like they didn't see anything or anything wrong with it. So I feel like it itself, like no one should also have to go through that. But it's like an adult still acting like a child in a way, because they don't have like sense of like, how do I say this? For them, they don't see what they're doing wrong in a way. So yeah.
And do you think that it's done on purpose or it's unintentional when people say, if you leave me, I will hurt myself?
You asked if that was intentional. Do they mean it?
Do you think it's unintentional or do you think it's intentional?
No, it's definitely intentional. They
Why?
definitely.
Why? Why does I see a lot of shaking heads? Why?
Because you wouldn't want somebody to hurt themselves. You wouldn't want them to kill themselves. So you would do what you can to prevent that from happening. But also, I feel like being in a relationship with someone who's not mentally unstable in itself is already something that's very tiring. And that's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like if you know that they've never once mentioned, like let's say their mental health isn't that bad and they've never once mentioned self-harm or anything like that, and then you're trying to leave and then all of a sudden they mention it, then that's, okay, relax. But if they've always been, fighting with their mental health and then you trying to leave and then that happens, that's when you kind of get in a position where you're scared because what if they actually do? They've tried multiple times. So what if now something happens and it's my fault? And you lose that guilt. And I think that's why like being with someone that's mentally unstable like that is just tiring to and you can't always help people. I mean, that's not your job. That's another thing, that's not your job. So it's like if you want to leave, you have your reasons to leave, then whatever they do is on them. Like you can't, you'll be a little guilty about it for however long, but I mean, it's never their fault. Like they must have been going through a lot of other things, and yeah, this could have been the cherry on top, but oh well. I don't know. Personally, if I was in that position, I think I would still leave. Yeah, I would like maybe try to help. Like, okay, I'll get you some resources, but no matter what, I'm gone. Because I've been, that's what I was doing.
Okay.
Yeah. And to add on,
Go ahead.
Your question, you asked if it was intentional or unintentional. It's definitely intentional because they know by saying that it gives the other person it gives them a chance to it makes them feel like they have a chance for this person to stay with them, because those are very powerful words, and again, it just depending on who you are. Like Nita said, if it was never brought up that you had any mental illness and you're just saying this out of nowhere, then it's really less likely you're gonna believe them to doing that, so you just leave anyway. But if they are subject to mental health and all that stuff, then you really know that it's intentional, because it's like you're saying this so you can have me change my mind. Like it's not like you're just saying, oh, I'm not going, it's not like you're just saying, you're saying that to intentionally have this person try to stay with you, knowing that you don't even have the thought of self-harm on you. You just want to say it so that person can let that person have another reason to stay and baby and stuff like that. So I feel like it's always intentional when self-harming comes up, because it's always a bigger thought process when that comes up for the other person that they're
Does your sentiment change if mental health has been present before.
I mean,
Like if somebody has struggled with like anxiety or depression or like thoughts of suicide like before during your relationship, and then they say, and then what if what if you as the partner it's gotten to you now, and you're like, I can no longer hold you anymore.
yeah.
And then they say, oh, well, but if you leave me, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, does your thought change now? Like, in the sense that,
I mean,
so now, do you feel responsible for their emotions and actions?
no. The thought process that you have or the way that you feel about them, like saying I don't think it should change. Especially if you've been trying, like you said, like you've been trying to help this person, and you know it causes stress for yourself, like over and over, like over time and stuff like that, and they're still like they're not even trying to better themselves, they're not trying to fix whatever is making them feel like this. Then I don't think the sentiment should change. I've tried to help you, you didn't want the help. You're not gonna guilt trip me into how you're feeling, even though I've been putting this stress upon me to try to help you. And I just feel like it's unfair for the partner, because you don't know, like you don't even know what's going on with the partner's life, and you could be adding on to that person's life, and they could be dealing with things that you don't know. So you just throwing that out there, like it just seems you throwing that out there that you want to self-harm yourself, even though I've been trying myself to help you with all this stuff. It just seems kind of like selfish as well. So no, I don't think the sentiment should change at all, especially if you've been trying and they're not trying to change themselves, and it's pretty obvious you probably want to stay like this, or you just want the attention. So I don't think the sentiment should change.
I feel like it would change for me. Like if it was brought up in the past in our relationship, like they tell me they've been having those thoughts, or like when they are having those thoughts and they lean on me, like talk to me specifically, I feel like if they like brought that up to me, like if you leave, like I don't know how I'd be able to like live, like I'm gonna kill myself. I feel like me personally, I definitely take that to heart. Or okay, let's get married tomorrow. Like
so sweet.
Yeah, cause like with me, I know like how it could be to lean on someone mentally, and like just to not have them like at all. I know that could definitely like spike your mental already, and to have those put together, like I feel like that would definitely like take a toll on me personally. Like even if I was like drained in the relationship, I feel like I would probably like, know what I mean? I'd give it a couple more months. Like that's just me being real. Like I would stay.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And you had a reaction. What's up?
I mean, I don't get guilty over this. Like, you're your own person. You might lose.
Okay, valid.
For someone you love, you would feel like that?
I mean, I don't feel guilty about it.
Oh, okay.
And being like, oh, this or that, I'm like, okay. And then just leave it anyway.
That's so baby. She's stronger for it. Any other thoughts before we move on? Yes, Ruben?
Yes. I think I don't think anybody is responsible for your feelings other than yourself. And I think that, again, if we've gotten to the point where I'm gonna leave you, and because this is what it is, it's a threat. It's like anytime someone says like, if you do this, I'm gonna break up with you. If you do this, I'm gonna kill myself. It's a threat. And it's them grasping at whatever like empathy or love or like feelings you have towards them. They're trying to take advantage of it to get you to stay with them. And it's like, and even in moments where the person has had like a history of like struggling with their mental health, it's still like, if your mental health is starting to affect me to the point where I'm deciding that this person that I care about and love, I have to leave you because of it, then it's like, at a point. And like I said, like if it gets to that point where it's like, this moment is when you choose yourself or them. And I think in that moment you need to choose yourself, because they aren't willing to get better, or they're willing to use their mental health as an excuse to not get better, and it's like they can't do it for you and you can't do it for them. You guys have to do it for yourselves. And leaving in that situation, even if they're threatening to kill themselves, is choosing yourself. It's choosing to get out of that toxic situation. Because even if you stay, and what if they still do it? What if you stay and it's never enough and they need more from you? You can't give anymore. And in that point, you're now putting yourself in a dangerous situation. And it's just a moment where you need to choose your own peace or keeping their peace.
Okay. Alright, so we're gonna move on, okay? Location. Alright, so your partner insists you share your location 24/7 so they always know where you are. And they get upset if you turn it off. How do we feel about this?
That's so mean.
Say more about that, Nita. Let me hear you, girl. Let me hear you. Go ahead.
It's like the world is a scary place, and I feel like it's my job to like protect the ones around me, and like, you know, why are you there? Like, I don't know. I feel safer having their location than not having it, because then it ties back to like, you know, River said everybody's insecure, it's natural, but it also just ties back to being insecure. Like, okay, where are you? Like, where are you?
Okay.
I just wanna add on to what Nita said. I agree, but I don't fully agree. I feel like it's really insecure a little bit. It really just it depends on how you're using it, because I have my location shared with my family just to see if anything goes wrong with, you know, anything outside, like the world. They're not answering me. You know, I gotta see where they are, you know, like just to really make sure they're safe out in the world, because anything can happen. But if you're using it as in, like, again, a threat, like, oh yeah, I don't trust you, give me your location, I need to see where you are 24/7, it's like, do you not trust me? Like, you know, like, I feel like, I mean.
So you're saying, why am I sharing the location is important?
The
reason.
Yeah, like, you can ask for it. I would definitely give it to you, but if you're using it, if you're like saying like give me your location because you don't trust what I'm doing, then that's an insecure thing on your part, and you should trust me. You know, especially if I'm letting you know like, oh, I'm gonna be here. Then okay, you can still have the location just in case I'm there and you see me there and I'm not answering your phone or anything like that, and then okay, call me. Okay, that makes sense. You're checking my location. But if you're just saying it just pure off of you don't trust me and you just need to see where I'm at 24/7 because you don't trust me, then I don't know. I think you got a lot of self-healing to do.
But you could also trust someone and still be an overthinker, which is my situation. Like, I could trust you, but then in the back of my head it's like, but what if?
And then again,
you know, because there's always a what if.
oh yeah.
But personally, as far as location, I just use it as like a safety thing, and also just because I'm very nosy. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, of course. That's why, like, I'll give you my location and I'm gonna even let you know where I'm going. Like, oh, I'm gonna be at Target. You know, I'm gonna do this. Like, I feel like in a relationship, you should let your spouse know like where you're going before time. And if they want the location, okay, you can have it. But it shouldn't be just purely off of I don't trust you, this and this and this. And even if you do, like, and then again, I feel like some couples, they talk about the overthinking that people have, like if they're constantly letting you know like, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm gonna be here and this and this and this, but you're still overthinking, then like again, it's like kind of what you think, you know, because I'm letting you know where I'm at, and I'm giving, and you have my location, you're just checking it, trying to find something like, so why are you here?
What about the second part of the statement though, when they get upset if you turn it off?
Oh yeah, then that's definitely, that I can understand. Like if you're, that's very valid. If you turn it off for no reason, like you shouldn't even have to turn off your location. Like, what are you turning it off for? Then that's something suspicious. That's
it's
obvious.
sus?
Yeah, that's very sus.
Okay. So everybody agrees it's sus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if we always got our location shared and then randomly you just go out and you turn it off, that's already, you're already adding on to my overthinking, and now when you get home, we're gonna talk.
Okay, so I see two faces that disagree, and I would love to hear from Enya and River.
I mean, it depends on the situation. If your phone dies, the location automatically turns off.
Yeah.
If you lose service, it goes off.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe hear me out. It's not that serious. Like if it's like they purposefully turn it off for a specific period of time, I'm like, okay, I can give it to you. But there's also times where it's like, oh, you were just here, and then it just your location's off. Like what happened, and then it just comes back on like, and a little bit later you're like, oh, okay, like something happened to their phone or something, where it's like.
But I feel like you would know though, if their phone dies, obviously your text go green, whatever, so I know your phone died, but if you're texting me, or you're texting me and you're like lagging, I don't know, like, if I know your phone's not dead, if I know for a fact your phone's not dead, and I know for a fact that you have service, why is it off? Like,
That itself is weird, honestly. Because if they know them.
Okay, River, what was your reaction?
My reaction was, and throughout this whole conversation too, was that, like, this is another person and they have a life outside of me. And I've had situations where either it's my friends or me personally where I just want to disappear and be alone. And sometimes that requires me turning off my location to actually feel like I'm just by myself and I'm taking time to myself. And it's also like, this is a whole other person. They can do what they want with their location, like it is not like a necessity to have someone's location, but it's a privilege to be able to know where they're at and what they're doing throughout their lives and be able to see and be able to like check in on them. It's like, I think the part where you're getting upset, it becomes controlling because it's like, again, it's their life, it's outside of you, and
but I am your life.
Okay, so we see on one side of the spectrum we're at. All right.
I'm curious, really quick, how many of you actually do consistently share your location with someone in your life?
Definitely. I like watching them go on the freeway and stuff. Yeah.
Catherine, where are you at?
It's because as a person that doesn't really like sharing the location, because I'm more based off of trust, as a person that doesn't like sharing it, I feel like it just depends. Because, like, me as a person, I do fully trust people, which is bad, totally fucking bad. But
Why? Why is that bad?
I feel like it's bad because it depends on the situation, honestly. Because, like, you never know if you're being lied to, and for you, like, putting it aside because you fully trust them, but at the end of the day, you're finding out a lie. It's just like, okay, I didn't see it. Only reason why, because I trusted you, and I put that full trust to a point where I put it, like, on the side of me. But at the end of the day, it makes you look stupid in a way.
But didn't you find out?
Yeah.
Ah.
But as a person that doesn't like sharing the location, I feel like when I do, it's more of like, let's say I ask you out, or like we go out together, and I show my location just so I show you that I'm going home safely. But like it just depends, cause I'm honestly consistently not gonna share my location. Like what you need it that long for? Like it's built on trust. So I feel like it's just that itself. It's more trust other than them give me your location. Like no.
On the other side, is there anybody that each of you insist that they share their location with you? Is there somebody that you're constantly sort of making sure that you know where they're at? So yes, one. Family?
Yeah, it's family.
For
Oh
sure.
yeah, definitely. Oh yeah.
Family.
Would it be a betrayal of trust of that person just,
Turns it off.
yes, would you confront them about it to say like, hey, what happened there because you went dark? Or why did you go to that? That's a location I'm not familiar with. Why did you go there?
I feel like it's the communication and how you come at the person.
Turns it off.
Yeah, again, because it's a lot of good points, like, again, you could just be out of service or your phone just died, or, or they could just be doing something sneaky or anything like that. So, you really won't know unless they really tell you the truth, but I just feel like it's about the communication, to be honest, because, you can let them know, like, oh, I want the location off or on, or this and this and this, or if if something did happen while they were out and you had the location and it turned off or anything like that. It's just how you come to the person and how you communicate with them, because that's always a easy fix right there. They can just tell you what happened, this and this and this, unless you're like actually like really insecure and you're just like you're looking at details to nitpick at, like, oh no, but this and this and this, and oh this is, which turned into an even bigger argument. But I mean, if the response is valid, like they're just telling you like, oh this and this and this, and again, I'm a very communicative person. I will let you know like if I am going to be in an area that I possibly won't have a service, or if I know I'm going to be out long enough that my phone is going to die, I will let you know that beforehand, you know, so you wouldn't even have to do all that. But I just feel like it's communication and the trust that really holds that, you know, share your location thing.
Yeah, because like since this is like a control theme like to the conversation today, does this at all feel like it is controlling? Do you feel controlled by the person that watches you, or you feel like maybe you're a little bit in control of the person that you're watching?
Like it depends.
On the situation.
Yes.
It depends
It
on the
just
situation.
depends. 'Cause it depends on the person, like how they
And
put
that
it.
too.
Because as well, like let's say I'm very close or it's like family wise, okay, that's valid. Because like let's say my little sister's out, her location turns off all of a sudden. Obviously, that's more of like me worried type of thing. Like, what happened to your location? Why is it off? Or like, it's more of a worry type of thing. Because like, obviously, I'm not trying to have my little sister off somewhere, knowing that dang well, what's it called, Earth is like not it at this point. Like, there's a lot of things to be worried about.
It's all
That's
over.
it. Oh, 100%. It's all over.
What about, does anybody share or their location with a parent?
No.
Yeah, I do.
Raise of hands with who shares their location with a parent. Okay, interesting. Does anybody have their parent's location?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard the other. Like, no, my mom doesn't have, or my dad doesn't have my location, but I have theirs.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, right? Okay, so we're gonna move on to another one. And this one is called gaslighting. So you call something out that hurts you, and they say you're crazy or too sensitive, making you doubt your own feelings. How? Now again, this doesn't just pertain to romantic relationships. This can be relationships in general, friendships, and otherwise. So how do we respond or react to this type of situation?
It depends. It depends on the person, what kind of relationship it is. Because romantically, I wish they would. But
Okay.
if it's like I'm like scared. But if it's like a family member, then that's like, especially if we're like above you, like a parent, then that's where it's like, okay, like I know I'm right, but because they're my parent, I can't really do much. So.
Why? Say more about that.
Well, because they're a parent. So, in everybody else's eyes, that's still your mom. And I hate that. But, like, not even still your mom, that's still your dad. Whatever the situation is, like, that's still your family member because they're older than you. Especially, like, you know, being Hispanic, that's like, you know, you gotta, what's that word?
Give respect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, personally, I think respect goes both ways. But sometimes, but also personally, I'm very, like,
Respectful.
yes, but also just like I just let myself get punked on really. So it's like let's say like a family member, for example, I call something out and they say that I'm crazy and like shut up, you're sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shut up because I know I'm sensitive. But then part of me is also like I'm not crazy, like I know what I felt. But then most of me is like, okay, like I'd rather not go through all that. Let me just shut up and move on.
Okay, so how does that change in a romantic setting or a friendship setting?
Well, I don't know about friends. I don't really got friends. But romantically, I mean, like, you can't tell me when personally, I know I'm sensitive. So that's you can't tell me I'm sensitive. I already know I'm sensitive. But to tell me I'm crazy and to try to make me doubt my own feelings is, I'm not gonna lie, like it probably would get to me. But then like over time, it's just like, wait, let's backtrack. Like, I know you didn't just like.
I feel like with that, I feel like no matter who it is, I would get defensive because I feel like I'm in touch with me being sensitive. So like even if it's like a joke, like, oh, we don't allow your dirty ass shoes in here, get out. Like if it was something like that, and be like, bro, hold on. Like I would feel a type of way, but I don't know if I would say something to be like, I know you didn't just try to like tell me how I'm feeling. Is my heart in your chest? That's how I would be. But like in my head, like I would just walk away because like with me, like I wouldn't speak out to say like, bro, you know I'm sensitive, why would you say that? But I would just be like, okay, never telling you that again, and then just walk away and leave it at that. But I feel like I would be easy to be gaslit, but only in their head. Because like, say I'd be like, bro, you just hurt my feelings. And they'd be like, bro, it wasn't even that deep. I'll be like, okay then, and then walk away and be like, that bitch, like how you gonna tell me? But like only in my head though, if that makes sense. So like they would think they won, they didn't.
But in that situation, if it's like romantic, I think that's like a level of communication. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if you're thinking that, I'd rather you tell me than to just think it. So.
Okay. What about okay, so any other thoughts?
Gaslighting. Yikes. Man. I feel like I've been on like both sides, if I'm being honest. But I feel like
Okay, say more about that. I want to hear about
I feel
that.
like on the side where I'm giving the gaslight, you know, I'm joking. You know, I'm joking. Sometimes I'm just joking, but you can't really joke with everybody because not everybody gets your sense of humor. You know, like that's why I try to learn to not really joke with people unless until I got to that point where I known them. But I've been a couple times where I made a couple jokes or I said a couple things, and they'll do like, why are you saying this and this, and I'll be like, what you talking about, bro? It's not even that serious, but it's just in my own mind because I know how I'm saying it. I'm not saying it in a super super really deep way. I'm just just saying that as a joke, but again, people are like kind of sensitive to and very insecure about certain things that they have. And I've been on that side too, like where you call something out and the person will just disregard what you're calling out because of, because of how they feel like they're saying it. Like they're not really, just thinking about the other person's feelings. So, again, I just think it goes with the person, the connection you have with the person, just know the boundaries that person had, know their boundaries of joking and stuff like that because you don't know how, it can hurt them. And how I responded to that is just what Angel said, just walking away. Because arguing with people that are gaslighters, they don't like to admit when they're wrong. So they will gaslight you again and again and again until, it's just over. So it's no point in even giving them attention. It's just, if you say something and I call you out on it, or if you say something like disrespectful and I know you're a gaslighter, I wouldn't even make my presence known to you anymore. Like I'll disappear from you and you wouldn't even see me anymore. Especially if I know like you're not gonna change if I tell you about it. So the best thing to do is just walk away because I don't know, people are entitled to their own opinions and they gonna think like, oh, like I just said this and it wasn't meant like that. People are really close-minded one side.
But do you think you should go back on it though? Because I've caught myself in situations where like I might not say you're crazy or you're sensitive, but I'll say something like, I don't know, not those words, but something in that, like.
In that sense.
Yeah, but then later on I'll think about it and it's like, damn, why the fuck would I say that? And then it's like, okay, I apologize.
Again,
bring that back.
Yeah, I feel like, you can take accountability, but again, I feel like it's not wrong because you didn't notice in the beginning. Like if you're saying something and they did tell you this. Again, you're looking at it from your view. So you're telling them this, like, you're telling them this knowing that you didn't mean it like that, but again, you start to realize, oh, like, that hurts their feelings. That's what I was basically trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's why you really can't really joke with everybody unless you know them like that, because when once you get the time to know them, you know how they joke, you know how they can take things and stuff like that. That's when you
But
start making
sometimes it's
this.
not even just joking. Sometimes it's just you as a person, like being quick to be a smart ass.
Yeah, smart ass. Yeah. So
So
I feel like it's nothing wrong with it, especially if you're acknowledging it and you taking, like, you know, you telling them sorry and stuff like that. Like, oh, you know, I didn't really. Then it's nothing really wrong with that. You didn't know that person was as sensitive as they are. You didn't know how they react to certain things, and you came back and you made up for your mistakes. So I don't think it's really nothing wrong with that, to be honest.
Yes, Catherine?
Huh? Oh, I feel like I like kind of agree with Corey because I feel like it just depends on how close you are with the person. Because some people do gaslight just to get a reaction out of you.
Valid.
So I feel like it just depends because it depends on how close you are with the person. Because like family wise, you could be close with one another with a cousin, but at the end of the day, there's always this one person you don't really communicate that often, or you're not really that close to, and they'll still gaslight you just because they see the other person doing it because they want to follow along. But I feel like it just depends. Like it also like it's just more of the boundaries type of thing. Like if they know you don't really fuck with them like that, it's just like why do they do it in the first place? Like why does it make it seem like it's okay knowing very well like we're not close
Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Question for the group. Is it easier to let somebody know that they hurt you if you're closer or not closer to them?
Closer, most definitely. I feel like if somebody was to say something to me that was hurtful when I'm close to them, I'm a snap on them. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, I'm gonna give my state of mind and stuff like this. But when it's other people, I feel like it's harder because I don't really know how other people are gonna react. You know, like people can take what you say out of offense. You can be like, oh, can you not say this? You know, it's really like it's really offensive to me. And then they can get offensive back, like, I didn't say anything, what are you talking about? This and you barely know the person, so it's like, now you just starting up a whole big drama, so it's like, if you really don't care about, then okay, then it doesn't matter, like, just say what it really don't matter who it is, say what you say to whoever, but I feel like if you're like more of a like, not taught, like you're more of introvert, you really don't like to express yourself in certain ways, then I feel like it would be harder for like just a random person or someone that you're not close with because you know they don't know you like that. Then you know you gotta let them know like how you are and stuff like that. So it just feel like it's harder for people that don't really communicate or just talk to other people like that.
Interesting. It's actually it's funny to use counsel, but it's easier for me to let somebody I'm not close to that they hurt me than somebody I'm close to.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, say more about that.
I feel like if a stranger came up to me and made like a joke that I wasn't comfortable with, I'd be like, for one, like, I don't know you like that, so I'd be like, don't talk to me like that.
Right.
But if it were like my cousin or something saying it, and they knew it hurt my feelings, they either one said it to joke, and I would be like, but like if it was a stranger, I feel like if you don't say anything, that gives them room to just keep cracking on you. And with me, it's easier to shut that down. Like, I don't know you like that. I'm not laughing. Calm down.
Right.
Like, that's me. But with like someone I know, like I feel like I know how they're gonna react. Like completely opposite to what you said. Like I know how they're gonna react. So I know like if I tell my brother, bro, that was not funny. Like no one's laughing but you.
Okay.
He would continuously try to keep cracking or things like that. And with people I know, they're entirely childish. So me saying like I didn't like that would egg them on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With people I know specifically. So I feel like with a stranger it'd be easier.
Yeah.
What about you, Catherine? I saw you react. How do you feel?
But like I agree. Just because, like, as a person that doesn't really like communicating with family members, even if they hurt my feelings, like, at the same time, it is easier just to communicate with people outside that you don't know. Because at the end of the day, like family-wise, but like it depends on how you have to be specific on how you say it in a way. Because like let's say you say it like somewhat defensively, to like they don't fully like be defensive back, but like a person you don't really know or anything like that, like it's more easier because you have a way to approach it and stuff. And family wise, it's just like they probably knew that they hurt you and stuff, but as well they just want you to say it.
Yeah, because people, you know, they know how to get under your skin. So 9 times out of 10, they probably did say it on purpose. Giving them that green light that you really did hurt their feelings, now they know how to get you. That's how I do.
That's why you don't show the reaction.
I'm the same way.
Okay, any final thoughts before we go to the last one?
I was gonna say a total stranger just gaslighting you is kind of crazy. And just coming out of nowhere gaslighting you is kind of nuts, right? Am I tripping or like a dude just come out of nowhere and just say
It's
something?
possible though. It's possible.
You know what's
Yeah,
crazy?
possibly.
Sometimes a stranger can read you better than the people closest
Oh,
to you.
yeah, for sure.
Right? Okay, so we're gonna go to the last one. And this one is using family, right? So they bring your family or sibling into arguments, threatening to involve or embarrass them if you don't comply.
Oh no.
Okay, so we already have some reactions. So what's up?
It also just depends on the person, because family-wise, sometimes you can't really do much versus like other friends or relationships. For example, like personally in my situation, I've had issues where like me and a family member won't get along, and then they'll be like, okay, so because we have this argument now, that little kid can't be with you, and then that's them bringing them in, and then that's just like you're crossing the line. No matter who it is, you're crossing the line. But then again, it's also like their family members. It also depends on the family member. Like when it's a parent and they're parents to you and that kid, you can't really say much now. It'll irritate you, but you can't really say much now. Versus like, let's say it's a cousin just trying to separate you from another cousin, then it's like, okay, you can't, girl, bye. But now if it's like relationship or family or friends, that's easily like, what's the point? Like keep this between us. Don't bring the child in, because now, if I wasn't already mad, now I'm extra mad, because just me with children, that's just me with children. But
Right.
children around me, like, don't bring them into it. They have nothing to do with anything.
So this can also be if you've ever seen in other. This doesn't have to be in your own personal life, but what if you've witnessed in other relationships where people bring in other family members into the relationship, right? So, like I've also seen, like if a mother gets involved into a relationship or a father gets involved in a relationship. So this can extend beyond just a partner trying to bring somebody in, you know? Yes, go ahead, Corey.
I don't know if I'm supposed to raise my hand, but you know, I don't know.
No, you go ahead and
Okay.
start whenever you're ready.
All right, for surely. So I was gonna ask, is this like them physically bringing in a family member or anything, or is it them like threatening about you like using them to, or just threatening you by like trying to get them in trouble, basically? Like I don't know, is it like are they physically bringing this person in, or is it?
The great part about this is you get to interpret it however you want.
Okay. Well, I feel like if it's like that,
Or however you have experienced
Gotcha.
or witnessed.
I feel like, I don't know, if it's like that, like your partner brings your family or sibling into an argument, like threatening to embarrass them if you don't comply, that's an immediate like ass whooping or immediate like fight, because why are you trying to embarrass my family because of an argument that we're having? Like you're trying to embarrass something that's going on with my family because we're having an argument. You're trying to make me feel some type of way. That's obviously going to start problems, you know?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, but I mean, if you're physically bringing in a family member, again, it really depends on who you are. Yeah, it really depends on who you are and how close you are with your family, because if you're bringing in
like if you're the one doing the arguing and you bring in a family member, some family members don't care who's right or wrong. They're gonna choose their sibling side, like no matter what. But if you have like an open-minded relative that's seeing it from both sides, then I mean that's okay. Because again, I don't really mind like point of view from the outside. You know, like it's always better to have those opinions so you know what's fully going on. So bringing them in physically, depending on what it is, then it's understandable to certain points. But I mean, if you're just trying to involve my family to embarrass them, like this and this, I'm gonna post that your family is a bunch of bums or something like that, then that's when it just turns more into like physical conflict or anything like that. So I feel like that's how I reply, like depending on what they mean by that. Like if you're trying to embarrass them because of this argument, then we're done. And if you have a problem, then you can see me outside. But if it's, if it's like, okay, if you just want to bring them in physically so they can get both stories and they can just have their opinion on it so you can see how it looks from the outside, then okay, it's nothing wrong with that.
And we just cleared that Corey does not advocate for physical abuse in relationships.
Yes.
Let's just clear the air around.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Since I seen you last, I know I didn't have to walk away. All I had to do was ask for space. I'm telling you, be on your way. When I told you to fall back, so can you come pick up your clothes?